Hi, this is Cybersecurity Expert Reginald Andre, and today we're talking about the online dating website that is called MeetMindful. They've been around since 2013, and they have like a different type of clientele that they're getting, but they just reported yesterday on Tuesday that 2.2 million of their members' information is now out public. So even if you don't have a MeetMindful account and you don't do online dating, still listen, because I'm going to be giving you an example of why it is so important to watch out where you're putting your information and why you should never pay hackers. So let me go ahead and start. So MeetMindful, as I mentioned, is an online dating website. I decided I'm going to go ahead and check this database of 2.2 million people. And let me tell you what I saw. I saw email addresses, phone numbers, first name, last name, city, longitude and latitude showing exactly where these people live, sexual preference, body types. I mean, everything was on there. And this information is out in the public. If you Google someone's name and that was on that list and you search long enough, that information now is out there in the public. This is why it's so important that if you have a business and you have developers in your company that are writing code for you, or you're integrating with another company and they're accessing your CRM, it's so important that you vet them. Because in this particular case with MeetMindful, all of their data now is exposed. If you opened up an account with them from a certain date and from the beginning, they're saying that this person's information is exposed. So why do hackers care about this? Because I'm going to tell you exactly what they do. So what they're now going to do is that you're going to have someone that's going to send a Facebook message, send an email, call them and say, hey, you had a MeetMindful account and you put that you were single, but I checked your Facebook page and it shows that you're married. Hey, I checked your Facebook page and you put that you were straight, but on MeetMindful, you're gay, or whatever it is, right? This is going to start happening to that person. And the next thing that's going to happen is the hacker is going to say, all right, I tell you what, go ahead and just pay me $1,000 in cryptocurrency and I'll make sure that I don't tell anybody. My secret is your secret. And of course, that person is probably going to go and pay that dollar amount and send them the money. Now, when they send them the money, there's no way to trace it because it's cryptocurrency. So there's no way for them to call the authorities to get it back. But what's even more compelling in this story is that in a couple of weeks from then, they're going to get another phone call from a totally different person who doesn't know the other hacker that says, hey, I saw that you go to this website, but then you're really married, but then you know your Facebook profile doesn't match your MeetMindful profile, and if you don't pay me, I'm going to put it out there. But as I mentioned, that information is already out there. So this is why it's so important that you don't pay the hackers, because who's to know that the person that stole your data is not going to try to make money off of you and then sell it to somebody else, telling them, hey, I haven't called this list, you should call this list. They're gonna call you, try to make the money off of you, and then sell it to somebody else for them to call and try to make money, right? So that's why it's so important that if you have a business and you're listening to this and you have some type of integration where maybe you have a CRM, but then you hired a programmer to then integrate the two applications to talk, it is so important that you do different testings where you basically see how vulnerable that application is. And that should be a question that you're asking your developers, that you're asking your software programmers. Because there's one thing, for example, most people have QuickBooks for their financials or Sage or something like that. There's one thing with those companies that spend millions of dollars a year in protecting their application. But what about the local code developer that is just writing something for you, for custom, for your particular problem? Has that been vetted? How do you know if that there was some type of spyware within your network or within that application that it wouldn't be noticed, right? Because if QuickBooks has something on their server, they have things put in place to say, hey, look, there's something fishy going on in our network. Let's investigate it. But what about for you in your business with your custom software that you're running? If there was something suspicious running, will the developer get an alert? Is someone checking the code to make sure that it's not hackable within a few minutes? So these are all different things that you should consider when hiring a developer, when hiring a programmer. And if you are one of those people with the MeetMindful and maybe you just search on YouTube just to see, well, as I mentioned, don't pay the ransom because the information is out there. I'm not going to get into the whole personal thing and preferences and things like that. None of my business. And really, there's nothing else you can do because once the information is on the internet, there's nothing really that you can do. So the most important thing to know is next time when you are putting your personal information, and this goes with anything. This goes if you integrate. For example, if you ever have a login that you're trying to set up a new account and they ask you, hey, do you want to integrate with Facebook? No, do not integrate with those type of applications. It's convenient because your same Facebook login can be used for whatever this website you're going on, but then that integration is sending information. It's sending information. So be very, very careful with things like that. And just create a separate login, create a separate username, create a separate password, or at least you can keep the same username, but just create a separate password. And then that way your information is safe. But in this case with MeetMindful, even if you did everything right, it really wouldn't matter because the information would still leak. So in that case, if there is something that you never want anybody to know about or to find out about, putting it on the internet is not the best place to put it. So we'll see you next time on our next video and to talk about who else got hacked and how you can possibly prevent this from happening or affecting you in the future.